How to create an abstract, colourful design like this in Photoshop, PC or Mac. The key thing, gradients. But you can use images, of course, text, pattern designs, anything can be used as a source. Let's just undo that now, because I'm going to use a gradient. So just go to the gradient tool, here's the gradient, but let's just go edit and fill, just put it back to a completely fresh document. Black in this case, doesn't matter, because I'm just going to apply the gradient and I'm going to use blending mode of difference. Here's the gradient, it's a rainbow gradient. You can find that in the legacy section of gradients. 100% and classic. So just apply it. It's going to be applied radial, and you can vary the length as well as the angle of that gradient to create all kinds of designs, something like that, very quickly using the blend mode of difference. But now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that in the history panel. So here's the history panel. You can find that in the window menu. So just go down here, and this is the one you want to click. Down here, and you can see a history state there. That was for an old one. This one, just click. And now that is stored as the history state. And that is what the art history is going to be using. So art history is over here. Here's the art history brush, just beneath the history brush tool. So art history. Now it does depend on the brush. Now during this, going through previous versions of this, my tutorial, if you resize a brush, you go for a really large brush, the result is terrible. So I'd suggest really keeping it about 15 or 6, that sort of size. So just with that, and using blend mode normal, there's a variety of different blend modes. There's also styles. I'm going with loose medium. Just apply it. And you can apply it. Now, as you see, as I apply it, it follows the contour of that design. And again, you can see there, you've got that bit of design there. So I go along this line. Let's just go along that line. You can see it's following the contour of that, and it followed that contour as well. Not maybe accurately, depends obviously on the settings up here. But you can apply it, and you can see it follows like that. Now you could, of course, just use that. Perfectly reasonable. But you can always go to edit and fill. Again, fill that with black, and then apply again. Now you can see the brush I'm using. It's a star design. And the way to make it, just very simple. Just use the polygon tool or use the pen tool, and please check out my videos on how to create this sort of design. It's basically a shape without any fill and just black for the stroke. So you create a very small design. Star design seem to work. Something like this, a squiggle design like that, seems to work as well. Or this sort of design, great for brushes. And simply create a selection around it and edit. And again, define brush preset. Please check out my videos on how to create brush presets. So you got that. Now apply it. And again, sometimes you might think, well, that's a bit too thick. So you can always make it go a bit smaller. Make it down. If you use a circle or some other shape, sometimes the result isn't that great. I think the best ones are ones that work with stars. I don't know why, but that seems to be the one that seems to create the nicest looking sort of contour designs. And you can see now, applied to a black design like that, you've got lovely lines stretching out. Now, you don't have to keep it like that. You don't have to apply it over the entire thing. Perfectly reasonable just to apply it to just part of it and leave. Also, what you can do, you can apply effects. So you've got this design, always go to filter, and you can apply any of these. Blurs, blur gallery. Now I'm just going to go with Gaussian blur, but you could use smart blur, shape blur, so Gaussian blur, and you can see what happens. Near enough looks like the original gradient. And click OK. And again, now I can apply it again on top of that. And so on. So you can create all kinds of abstract designs very rapidly using this approach. But also what you can do is just a layer. And you can see there in the layers panel, you've got background. Now it's locked, so just unlock it. You can transform it. Go to edit and transform. Oh, sorry, before that, need a duplicate. Not much use. So layer and duplicate layer, that's what you need to transform. Edit and transform and flip horizontal. So you can see now you've got 2 layers there. I flipped one. It's exactly the same as the previous one. But now you can go to blend modes and you can run through those. You can see as you run through it, you get, again, lots of different designs. Maybe difference or lighten. So you can see the result of that. And again, you can always go to layer and flatten image, layer and just duplicate it again. But this time, what you can do, edit and transform and flip vertical. So you can flip it like that. And again, blend modes. You can see you can create something like that. Unusual designs that can be combined with all these lines. But again, you might just go to layer and flatten and continue to apply using the art history brush. So art history and apply. But what you can also do is go to filter, maybe stylize normal paint, and you can use any of them. Obviously, I've just gone with a couple of different ones like that. This is a great one because it creates very nice smeary designs with your lines. And you can go here and you can click OK. You could also use lighting. Personally, I don't like that feature, but click OK, you could try it. And you can see you smear it like that. And again, that can be used as your art history state. So go down here, click that. And that is now where you start from. Again, you could always go back, edit and fill, maybe fill it with something else. But black again, and then continue to apply. And now it's using that as the design to use the source material. And you can apply it multiple times. And of course, what you can also do is you can go to the gradient tool. So go to the gradient tool, got that gradient, you can change the gradient, don't have to use that. You can go to blending modes, difference, and apply it on top of that. And you can see then you get this nice, super colourful design. And you've still got that. And you can then, of course, apply it again, undo that, go to the art history and continue to apply. Now it's still using the previous source material. So if you wanted to use this, simply go over here again to the history panel. That's the key thing, history panel there. Make certain that is selected. And then with that, you can apply it and use that one over and over again. And if you want slightly thicker lines, because you don't have to have it 6, you could go maybe for about 38, 40, and you can see the result there. Now, let's just get to the brush settings, because I've been showing you the brush. Here's, like I say, the brush that I use, this design. Well, you've got over here brush settings, and that's in the window menu as well. You've got options here for brush tip shape, so you can change the size, maybe make it smaller. You can also got spacing. So if you want to, you've got variety option there. You can see then if you increase that, and you can see those lines. Again, you can reduce that down. Let's undo that bit and just apply again. Now, obviously, when it gets smaller, it ends up sort of, but you can still see the spacing there. So again, you could just make the spacing bit there, and you can end up with a star-like design appearing here. So there's literally millions of possible designs you create. What you can also do is you've got shape dynamics. So click there. You've got size jitter, so you can modify it so it varies in size. Angle jitter. Doesn't seem to have any effect there. But what is useful, color dynamics. And you can set the hue jitter and saturation jitter. So you boost that up so it becomes really colourful lines and different colours from the original source material. So then you can see, let's just make that slightly bigger again. There's a little spacing there. And just apply. And you can see that you've got a whole variety of different colours there instead of what the original source material looked like. Now you can apply this on a layer. So layer and go to new layer. Click OK and apply that. And then you can add depth to it, or maybe go just move that layer. So you go to the move tool and then you can drag that layer around. You can see now you've got that design. Hold down the Alt Option key and duplicate that. So you can build up a very complex Tangled design just using that. Or maybe decide, you know what, let's just resize that. Don't have to keep it like that. What you can do, you can always go to Filter and you can go down to Distort and maybe Wave. So let's just apply it there. I've got one setting, wavelength, and you can see the result then. You can see the distortion in this window. Very, very tiny. My apologies for that, but it is there. And you can modify the amplitude and click OK. And you can see then you get this lovely distorted design. And of course you can duplicate that as well. Now, once you've done that, layer and flatten image. And you can see now what I can do now. I can turn around and say, history state, I want to use that as a history state. So just go down there, flatten image, got that selected, edit and fill it with black again. And again, make sure you select the art history, otherwise it's not working. And just apply it like that. And again, vary the size. Maybe make it down to 3. or 2, you can make it very, very, very small. And again, it is using that design you just created. And if you're not happy with it, of course, you decide, you know what, let's just go back to the original. You can see the original there. Or there's the art history version of it. And of course, you can continue to add more and more complexity to it. Or not. Or just blur it, apply smearing, filter, and again, stylize and oil paint. Click OK, and then image, adjustments, and vibrance. And simply boost that up, give it some real nice colour, click OK. A variety of different designs can be created using this art history approach, using simply a history state here, which can be made up of anything. Anything can be done, and also a number of brush settings, as well as a number of different types of brushes. Though, if you go for this sort of brush that I've shown here, generally the results are much the same. Doesn't seem to work so well with just circles personally, or other shapes. It does seem to work best with these sort of sharp edged designs like this. Well, hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you much.